Even with an early Smeech, 3 Ambusher, Powder Pair on bench, some of Smeech's favorite items, and a reroll augment, this is still not a Smeech spot. But why? What if I zoomed out? What if I told you this game was played on no encounter? Would that make it obvious? If it doesn't, you're not alone. In fact, 99% of players are neglecting this crucial aspect of the game, and it's keeping them out of Masters and beyond. Here's how to fix it. It's important to establish what elements make up a comp in TFT in order to understand this mistake. I would say the comps in TFT are made up of 4 elements. 1. The units in the comp. Think of your 7 Rebels in Rebel, or Emissary for your Emissary boards. 2. The items needed for the comp to function. You can think of Rage Blade for Zeri or Twitch.
Oh no!
3. Augment enablers. This category includes all of your boards that require hero augments, as well as special boards like Why Not Both, and ranged artifacts for Nocturne. 4. Econ. How much does your comp cost to assemble? What level does your comp require you to be at in order to stabilize? Let's look back at our board. Do we have all the elements for our comp? It looks like we have a high roll of all the early game units for the Smeech board with Camille, Powder, and Smeech. So we can say that we have a higher than average spot in terms of the first element. Now let's take a look at our items. We have a Titan's Resolve and a BF Sword. Both of these items are part of Smeech's best in slot. But we only have 3 components overall, and the Smeech board really wants an abundance of items to gear its secondary or even tertiary carries. That being said though, the components we do have are of high quality, so overall, I would rate this an average spot based on element 2. Now the Smeech boards don't have a crazy blowout augment that enables the strategy in the same way that a hero augment board or trait tracker for Scrap has. That being said, we also don't have anything that hard angles us towards the comp, like Loot Explosion, Ambusher Emblem, or Mace's Will. So, overall, we are slightly below average in terms of element 3. Now we are going to examine our spot in terms of econ, and this is by far the most misevaluated element. First, we need to evaluate how much this comp is going to cost to build. Now since TFT as a game has extreme variance, it is nearly impossible to put a definitive price tag on a composition. What we can evaluate, however, is what kinds of comps benefit more from higher econ compared to others. To list in order of least benefited to most benefited from high econ, it follows: 1 cost rerolls, like Family, 2 cost rerolls, like Zeri, Fast 8 2-star 4 costs, like Scrap, 3 cost reroll, like Smeech, and finally, boards that cap high or stabilize at level 9 with 2-star 5 costs, such as Rebels, Academy, and Built Different boards. Now, looking at this list, Smeech, the comp we are leaning towards, is second highest in terms of econ requirement. Now let's look back at our spot. We have 40 gold saved in stage 2. That's pretty good. And our augment gives us econ in the form of rerolls, which we were already going to do. So it must be a good spot. Wrong. Look at everything we are lacking. We're playing on no encounter, the lowest econ encounter. And look down here. We are collecting no streak gold. And because of our mixed streak, we can't get bailed out by the Chem Baron variant of the comp that would help us cut costs. Therefore, we have a failing grade in terms of econ. We simply won't have the econ to hit this comp. Therefore, this is not a Smeech spot, and it's time to pivot off this strategy. So what do? How do we stop misevaluating our spots and pick lines like the top players do? Well, thankfully, you've already been given the solution. When you go to play your next games, evaluate your spots in the same way we did in this video. Into the smaller elements and evaluate them individually to get your overall score of how good your spot really is. Using this method, I guarantee you will be playing better lines, and therefore winning more games. In my example, I was able to pivot off of Smeech and onto an Enforcer board.